welcome, friends, family, and chosen family. I am a second-generation settler of mixed British and European descent, and land, nature, and community are really important themes in my novel. So it's important for me to be able to acknowledge that these lands we call home belong to the Lekwungen people, the Songhees, Esquimalt, and Wasanic peoples. And I want to specifically acknowledge the Native Women's Association of Canada, who lead the Water Carriers Project. And they work to protect, speak for, and care for the water as they would for their own kin. I want to thank them and their ancestors for preserving these lands and these waters that we all hold so dear. Now, if you've already read my book, you'll know that I wrote a ton of thank yous. So many of you here tonight have helped me on this journey, but I especially want to thank Fraser and Jalita for hosting tonight. Jalita, thank you for so thoughtfully decorating and creating a caring space for us tonight.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Yes, thank you. Okay, so at 18, my friend Jeff Koo and I drove his diesel belching Mercedes around the Ubik Ring Road. And right then, I knew that I would return to this island and be a writer. And I did. Mm-hmm. Just before graduating Ubik's writing program, I fell into a tech portal where I stayed and played. And at 47, I was proud, so proud of founding 2 tech companies with Jeff, living in New Zealand and LA, raising my daughter Ada, and I'd built deep friendships here and across the world. I was challenged and I was curious, but I was disconnected from the 18-year-old who wanted to write, who wanted to see her novel in Bolin Books, who wanted to push through the winter coats and find her own Narnia. And I did. And it was, quite frankly, terrifying. Could I actually write? Had I made it all up in my head? Would anyone care what I wrote? And sweet Jesus, what possessed me to give up my steady job for the creative unknown? I could write multiple drafts, maybe outrageously bad, but then could I finalize and format and publish and distribute and market? And I did it. Finally there, circled in my calendar, was publishing day, Tuesday, October 2nd. Scratch that, Taylor Swift's album comes out that day. October 16th it was, and it arrived. But there was no Nirvana, no celebratory trumpets spouting out confetti. It was a Tuesday. And now I realize publication day is just a Tuesday. Here, right now in this room, surrounded by the people I love and who love me, this is what it's all been for. I wrote a story I wanted to tell, and then I got to share and celebrate with you all. So thank you. Just a couple short sections from the book. Okay. Thread Traveler. And the cover was painted by my friend Hannah, She Can Dance, who lives in New Zealand. So it was so nice to be able to collaborate and work with another female friend and artist. Okay, so I'm going to read from chapter 5. So our heroine's name is August. And she is failing at her life, failing at everything, and takes a sip of beer in Britain's oldest brewery, and then everything goes white. Chapter 5, August. Okay, I do need my glasses for this. Okay, there we go. August opened her eyes. Her body ached like an extra who tumbled down the Sacre-Cœur steps in John Wick 2 "Fuck," she said out loud as she moved her head. A sizzle of pain ran from her palms to her neck. She stretched her jaw and smelt rich mushroom soup. Her tongue discovered rough patches inside her mouth. Weird. August lay on her side and gradually pushed herself up, tilting her neck back and forth, the sizzles of tightness softening. Fuck, I feel awful. Finally taking in her view, August saw wooden logs arranged like mini mazes of timber. Something organic grew on various piles. Where's the pub? Where's Andrew? Where am I? August struggled to stand up, every joint aching. She squinted against the cold sun. An enormous field stretched out, hundreds of piled oak logs. They're like tiny, very airy wood cabins. Where is this? Grouped in piles, the logs crisscrossed, creating towers that reached to shoulder height. August touched the pile next to her, roughened bark with small holes drilled in regular lengths along each log. As a gust of wind bit her back, she realized she was freezing. She looked down at her body. What the hell is going on? She wasn't wearing any clothes. Oh shit, was I raped? And August recalled every British police procedural she'd seen with the women left in fields. She hugged her arms around her body. Small pieces of red fungus clung to her arms. She brushed the scraps off, fear rising in her throat. Whoa, let's not panic just yet. August took a couple of deep breaths, pressing her hands to her groin. No bruising, no hotness, I'm okay. A flood of embarrassment swallowed her fear, reddening her cheeks. Did I get super drunk and do something inappropriate? She took a step and stumbled, her feet numb, clenching her breasts with her arms. August imagined herself in the Pacific Ocean, cold water dipping with Tabitha, their weekend ritual. You're good at cold, you know it's only temporary, you can do this, she whispered to herself, scanning beyond the field of logs. A layer of mist evaporated as the sun peered through. August leant against the tower of logs. The sun slowly warmed her. She closed her eyes. Okay, when you open your eyes, you're going to be back at the pub. 3, 2, 1, open. The vast field of logs greeted her eyes, and so did a bumblebee the size of a squash ball. August stepped away from the enormous buzzing insect as it landed on a nearby log. With no interest in August, the bee picked at what looked like a deep red mushroom fruiting from one of the drilled holes. Huh, said August, and leant closer, the large patterned wings like rippled tissue paper. August sighed, dropping the tension from her shoulders. So I don't think I'm dreaming, because when you dream, you don't actually know you're dreaming. So am I hallucinating? The fluffy bee lifted from the mushroom and flew off down the field. A welcome warmth fell on her body as the last of the morning fog vanished. August, grateful for the heat, bathed in the sunshine as a grasshopper the size of a stapler hung onto a clump of grasses. Huh, said August again, and moved to the insect studying the massive leg hairs. She stumbled as the grasshopper jumped from the grasses and disappeared into a log stack. Massive insects, piles of mushroom logs, and I'm naked. Can I hallucinate myself naked? August took a few tentative steps between the rows of logs. She could finally feel the ground warm under her feet and a growing stability in her legs. With ginger steps, she continued down the sloped field, the pungent mushroom smell deepening as she traveled. Eventually, she reached the end of the logs where the brush of a forest began, and here a small path invited her to step into the tangled woods. I hope I'm not hallucinating my death march straight to the Wicked Witch's cottage. August tried to laugh, but it came out as a nervous hiss. She shook her head and, with curiosity outweighing her fear, she stepped into the eerie forest. So off she goes. And now, August has been in this portal world for a little while, And she has met some important people like Margaret and Louisa Ray in her life. And now she's about to experience an event in this world that's called the herding. And so it happens twice a year when there's a blood red moon. Okay. Margaret finished her rounds with shoulder squeezes and cheek kisses and sat beside August. "Looks like we're ready," she said. "And you really don't know which animal is going to herd?" asked August. "'Tis true. The Mother Network likes to keep her secrets," Margaret replied, her eyes lowered. Slowly a rushing sound rose from the forest, like a thick stream parting the undergrowth. Twigs snapped and plants rustled, pushed aside by small, agile paws. 6 villagers scrambled up ladders to the lookout's mini platforms for better sightlines. "What is it?" called a timid voice. The rushing sound became a rumble. "Not sure yet," called one of the young women from the northern lookout. "But 'tis not a creature of flight. No need to roll down the covers. The dust and the spores are rising from the ground." Margaret pushed August's elbow. "Go see. You never forget your first herding." August stood, wove through the families shaken by the noise, and joined the other curious ones gripping the waist-high barrier, looking to the trees. So she's up on a platform. Wet black noses popped out from the tree trunks along the edge of the forest, followed by a silken stream of rust. The crimson river flowed across the earthen floor, obscuring leaves, soil, and fungi. "Foxes!" came a yell from the lookout as thousands of foxes exploded from the woods, a rolling mass of rusted fur flecked with black and white. They filled the streets and flooded beneath the tower, their coats a lake of rusty blood. The musky and slightly sweet scent reached August's nose as the herding continued to rumble. "Whoa, Tabitha would love this. Foxes!" And then a roll of sadness swelled in her belly. Her best friend not here to see the powerful wave. She heard Louisa Ray ask, "Are you okay, love?" "Yeah, I'm okay. It's just so magical, I guess," said August, unknowingly picking at the glistening skin on her cheek, something she did to calm her mind. With a look into Louisa Ray's deep green eyes, she yearned to tell her everything about her world. Tabitha, Ripley, the business, the stress and demands, Andrew, her excruciating need to get home, but she didn't want to burden her. This strong single mother who used her alehouse to support others didn't need any more weight. "Okay," said Louisa Ray slowly, "but if there's anything you want to talk about, I'm always here with this wee munchkin." And she gently pat the warm lump on her back and added, "Well, let's get drinking some of this here ale and enjoy our night." The atmosphere of the perch shifted as the villagers anxiously flooded away with the foxes. With the ale casks opened, August sipped from her cup and caressed Grace's cheek with her other hand. An elder named Jacob, whose delicate fingers collected gall fungi, also used his nimble fingers to strum an ancient song on his guitar. He sang of the first herding, the great herding of rats, how the town became overwhelmed until a young man sacrificed himself and led the army of rats away. Margaret put her arm around August's shoulder and whispered, "Magic is just a word for something we can't explain." August smiled at Margaret. "You're not wrong, Margaret. This entire world is filled with things I can't explain, especially how to get home." So if you haven't read the book yet, hopefully you're intrigued and want to know what happens, what she gets up to, and will she get home? And this is book 1 of 3. So a lot more is going to be happening to August. Yeah. So thank you, everyone. I am going to sign books, so if you have paid for a book, come and see me. I'll sign your copy. Otherwise, thank you so much for coming. Feel free to have a few more snacks if you need to get home. Absolutely go for it. But I appreciate every single one of you for coming, so thank you.